Hello, everybody, and welcome to Girls Unscripted. My name's Kate.
My name is Carolyn.
And this week on our weekly reality gab, we focus more on the reality and less on the gab.
Do we?
Shocking. Literally shocking. We go over Wes Wilson on Viall Files, the Summer House Reunion Part 2. We talk about Lindsay and Carl. Are Amanda and Kyle divorced? Is Amanda depressed? What do we think about Kyle's mullet? We dive really heavy into Summer House. If you're into Summer House, this episode is for you. We talk a bit about the Valley. Carolyn really teaches me about Kenya Moore and the lore of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Fantastic.
Literally fantastic. You also teach me about Perfect Match, which I don't watch.
Mm-hmm. We touch on Jowsey.
And we talk about Justin Timberlake's DWI.
Naughty boy.
He's a bad boy, that Justin
boy.
Timberlake. So stay tuned. There's a lot to talk about, and we get into the tea. So we'll see you there. Hello. That was a
really
little
good.
creepy. Oh, I thought it was creepy. Well, it was very Jack Nicholson, like, here's Johnny.
Hello.
Oh, gosh. Hey, everyone.
Hello,
hey.
everyone.
My name is Kate.
I'm Carolyn.
And welcome to the week. Girls. Hold on. And welcome to. Wait, I'm going to do the. What are we fucking doing?
I'm gonna hold and let you do your thing. I'm just gonna yes and it.
Okay. And welcome to Girls Unscripted Weekly Gab.
Woo!
That was sick.
Blew out the mic. That was
sick.
Man, I hope our episode goes better than that.
Hey, sometimes it can only go up
it
from
can
a rough
only go
start.
up from here. So,
It's funny because I actually did have this plan of like last week I started with the take a deep breath and then exhale.
Which went great.
Which I would like to do something similar because I feel like I had a bit of a stressful day. You maybe had a bit of a stressful day.
Yeah.
And I want our listeners to know that like this is a time for you to just like shut the fuck off.
All
You're
right.
just going to listen to two strangers.
Kiss.
That's on the Patreon. We don't have one, but if we did, that would be it.
Sorry, what are we gonna do?
No, well, now I'm a little hot.
Don't tell our husband, our boyfriends, our partners.
I think that we, like, whether you're on your way home from work or your kids are fucking fighting in the next room, I just think
fuck your kids.
We all just need to disconnect for the next hour and just listen to two strangers talking shit and gabbing away. So let's start with a normal deep breath.
Okay.
Like, no crazy shit.
Okay.
Because I can't handle what you did last time.
I can't handle what you made me do last time.
That was fully your choice.
It was prompted and you backed out.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
All right, ready?
Okay, ready? Yeah, I think in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Okay. I was so close.
I know.
I
could
was
sense
so
it.
close.
You wanted to make a silly noise.
I went back and forth in my head like 10 times.
And if that deep breath did nothing for you, we are also drinking this episode.
It also helps.
So cheers to that.
Woo!
Cheers, Carolyn.
Cheers.
All right, so let's get started. So we normally start with a little personal gab. I personally I just had a really chill last couple of days. You and I hung out outside of the workplace.
Which is nuts.
Recreationally.
You exist.
Like, it was kind of weird to see you, like, not in uniform.
A teacher.
You weren't in your uniform.
It's like seeing a teacher outside the classroom.
It was. We went out. We went to brunch in Santa Monica, and then we went out for a drink in Venice.
We went to the waterfront, which is where Ariana cried, and Pinky made out with Katie and Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah. It was funny. Like, we walked into all our friends. We were like, they filmed Vanderpump Rules here. This happened over here. This happened over there.
It was classic.
Well, I will say, I've never worn a skirt or a dress on this.
You seem very proud. Like, I could take you to church and be proud to be by your side.
I was actually just going to say, I may have just flashed everyone who's watching on YouTube with the way I just
clutching my pearls.
crossed my legs. So look,
Ooh.
I apologize. And if we have more views on this video than normal, we know why.
And
or
maybe we do make that Patreon.
Or less.
Or less, we'll also know why.
Someone's like, I can't watch this anymore. I've seen this girl's underwear too many times. But speaking of stressful, okay, this wasn't in the plan of what we were going to talk about today, but I just have to tell you. Mm-hmm. So I am very slowly but surely watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for the first time.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I do like it. It's just I have a hard time with the Housewives. Like, I bailed on Beverly Hills. Like, I bailed on New York just because after a while, they're just like fighting over the dumbest shit over and over and over again. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I hate to say it, but I just don't care. But I know I'm like pretty alone in that. But Salt Lake, I knew like there's some real fucking shit going down. Like, I heard about the Jen Shah stuff, and it was right when this Monica Von Teese stuff came out that I was like, I'm gonna watch the show. So fucking stressful. Right before you walked in, I'm at the very end of season 2. So Jen Shah's been like booked, but she's still like hanging with the gals. They're accusing Meredith Marks of making up when her father's memorial was, because they think that she like tattled on Jen Shah, and they're all just screaming at each other. And Mary Cosby doesn't like Jenny, which I'm pretty sure is because and I'm gonna say this, I think Mary Cosby doesn't like Asian people.
Well, there have been remarks that haven't been in her favor. Yeah,
well, and she's like made from the way she's talked, and I'm like, that's obviously why you don't like Jenny. Just say that. And then they're like bringing in like, well, Mary, everyone in your church is leaving because it's fucking fake.
Well, it is.
Like, it's crazy. This shit, and Whitney is just drunk yelling, but like, I don't know. It was just like a lot of fighting here and there and whatever. And Lisa Barlow has that hot mic moment where she's like, I don't even want to be friends with Meredith anymore. She's a fucking whore. She's fucked half the people of New York. Yes. I was like, I actually like Lisa Barlow. Like, even before that. Like, she's just funny to watch. And at one point, she's like, I'm richer than all of you. I don't even need to be here. Yep. Which was obviously her saying, like, I don't need to be on The Real Housewives.
Right.
I just love it. Which
also, like, I don't think is true. But I don't know. There's just rumors about financial dysfunction everywhere. But it's crazy that you said season 2. I can't believe she got booked in season 2,
like the beginning to middle of season 2, and
it was
now
so fast. I forgot it happened that quickly.
Yeah, and then the whole like rest of it has just been, that's what the entire season has been about.
That season's pretty fucking nuts.
No, it's good. It's good.
Really good.
I really just want to get to the whole Monica Von Teese thing though.
Well, honestly, some of the stuff you're seeing is still like, I'd say as good as Monica Von Teese, but I think Monica Von Teese had a really epic reveal, like,
which I have seen, but I need to, because were they friends when that happened? Like the originals, like Whitney, Lisa, Meredith.
They all had beef with each other with some respects, so it is weird that like they all came together because of this reality account. Or not weird. I guess it was nice in some ways, odd others, but they definitely had still tension between them for sure.
It's just like when I watch things like this, I hate the fighting. It like gives me anxiety, but it also kind of like makes me like want to get in a fight.
Why does it do that to you?
I just haven't fought with someone in a long time. Like, don't you feel like fighting? Not with a significant other. That is just exhausting.
That's the worst.
But maybe even with that, it's kind of exhilarating.
We're recapping Vanderpump Rules episode 2 next, and there's a big drunken fight scene with a significant other, and I was like, nostalgia.
You know what? I thought the same thing when I saw that scene of them fighting in the parking lot.
I was like, oh my God, just yelling in public.
You guys have to stay tuned for that. That's going to be the episode we post after this
that
one.
was just a little tease.
But I don't know. It's just fun to kind of get in like a fight. That's so fucked up of me to say. I've like never even gotten in a fight. I'm not a very confrontational person.
And
but
what
like
counts as a fight, you know? Like, I'm making this grid for the next episode, and it's like I have different levels of fights. Like there's verbal arguments, escalated verbal arguments, physical fights at work. Like it's all a scale.
That's true. I guess the only fights I really get in are about like games and like competitive. Like I went to a party on Friday night, and I just met this girl. I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast, but I liked her. It was just like a girl at a party I just met.
Yeah.
And she was like nice, and you know, she didn't really know anyone. And then we started playing fishbowl. Completely different personality. You can't fucking say that. No, it's gotta be word perfect. Like screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm like, girl, like first of all, I looked at our friend Jono, and I'm like, do we sound like that?
Yeah.
Because like I do get in competitive fights, but like that was just a lot. I'm like, it's really not that serious.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is that serious when you're feeling passionate about a game of fishbowl.
I've seen this crew get heated over games before.
Oh, you've never seen? Do you know the game? And if you don't, this is gonna make me sound horrible. Secret Hitler.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like a mafia game where, you know, you have to figure out you have to suss out who people are. My friend group has gotten so mad during Secret Hitler. Basically, you're supposed to figure out who is a liberal, who is a fascist, and who is Hitler. We played this on a fucking campground, and we're screaming, "You're a fucking fascist! Well, you're fucking Hitler!" Like at the top of our lungs. But then once the game's over, like we just go back to normal. We're back to stasis.
Oh, but I haven't seen that. Like y'all do that Survivor drinking game, and I'll never forget a fight that I've seen in that lasted 6 months.
Oh, that was a different story. Yeah. That was a different story.
I've just seen y'all get heated over games a lot.
If you're listening, you know who we're talking about.
Can't wait for a text about that one.
All right, let's talk about stuff.
Let's talk about stuff.
You want to start us off with West on Viall Files?
I will start us off with West on Viall Files. I had a fresh listen to this on the car on the way here. I listened to 2 episodes of Viall Files, which is so much Nick Viall. That's like 4 hours of Nick Viall, which is a lot, which reminds me of how many times I don't agree with his opinions and how opinionated he is on things.
Okay, can I just cut you off and say, because I had a note about this on the West Wilson Viall Files episode, and I made a TikTok, and normally my TikToks recapping podcasts do really well. This one kind of flopped. So I'm happy we're talking about it here so I have some redemption.
Yeah.
Nick says he was upset that they like asked Carl to be on the show, but Carl wouldn't come on. Like Nick is upset that Kyle and Carl won't go on Viall Files. And Nick said, and I quote, "No one has gotten more criticism on reality TV than I have." And then I, in my TikTok, was like, I'm not a big Bachelor fan. I've never seen a season. Do you think Nick Viall has really gotten the most criticism out of anyone on reality TV? That is a bold statement for him to make.
I can't say the superlative most off the top of my head, but
Tom Sandoval's gotten them more than him.
Yeah, duh.
Let's
Tom
be real.
Sandoval would be more than him, but Nick has had a rough go.
So someone on my TikTok did comment and they said like his first 2 seasons, yes, he was a villain. Then he had like a redemption arc and now he's loved in Bachelor Nation.
Yeah. He definitely had an arc, a storyline, if you will. But he sucked at the beginning.
I feel like there's a lot of... I know I always bring it back to Jersey Shore. I feel like the Jersey Shore people have gotten years of criticism.
Yeah. Well, and Nick, I mean, a lot of what he's criticized for is now what we kind of love about him. Like, he's kind of seems like a know-it-all dick.
I don't love that.
Like, he
actually.
just
Do you like
seems
Viall Files?
like he knows everything. I think it's interesting listening to Nick's take on things because it's always so hot and like black and white for him, and I'm just like, oh, interesting point of view. To be honest, like the banter with people, like I could probably do without.
He had a lot of banter with West. Most of it was them just like
West was just shooting the shit,
giving him relationship advice. Let's talk
Yeah.
about our love languages. I'm like,
Yes.
shut the fuck up and hold this man accountable because I want to hear what he has to say.
Yes, which I will say it's probably funny looking at our podcast, but we also like to do it at the beginning to get it out of the way if we have anything and then move on.
We're also not listened by millions of people don't listen to us. So we can kind of do whatever we
I
want.
was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, how many listeners does he have? Like, he must make so much money doing this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely has one of the top podcasts. Look, I'm going to sound like a hater because it's like, I don't mean to be talking shit because I do listen to Viall Files and I like Viall Files.
Yeah.
Because he does get dirt out of people. He gets people to talk. But that's also the same reason why I don't know that I would ever go on Viall Files.
Yes, because it seems he's really good at buddying you up and kind of talking and not manipulating, but kind of making you feel like you're in a safe space to say all these things. And all of a sudden now it's the Viall Files that has the hottest sound clips of the whole week.
That's what I was going to say too. He's trying to like clip it.
Yeah.
Like he wants clickbait almost, which so does every fucking podcast.
Right,
like
it's his
again,
job.
it is his job, but I've like heard him say things like someone would be on and they'd be like, yeah, but like, I don't know, I shouldn't really talk about that. And he'd be like, no, why? Talk about it. And they're like, well, no. And he's like, I mean, you can do it. Do you need another shot? Do you want a shot? I remember Olivia Flowers. It was either Olivia Flowers or Taylor Ann Green, one of the Southern Charm girls, went on and it was like 10:30 a.m. And he's like, let's do a shot of tequila. Come on, let's do a shot of tequila. And they all did a shot of tequila, which I do think maybe might be like a common thing. Like, I mean, we're drinking right the fuck now in podcasts, but it did seem like, because it was right after the Austin Kroll thing, and I think he wanted tea from them.
In the episode that I just listened to like 30 seconds ago, he talks about how he doesn't do shots because it doesn't agree with his stomach.
I don't think he did the shot with
Okay,
them.
interesting.
I think the
Okay.
other people did the shot.
But he knows how to work the room, and he was The Bachelor for a reason. He was also hated on The Bachelor for a reason, and both of those things make for a great podcast host. So, like, don't hate the player, hate the game.
He definitely does skew more team woman. Okay, here's
Yes, he
another
does.
thing which I like about him, but here's another thing that pisses me off. And if we ever had any hopes of being on Nick Viall's podcasting network,
We are just shredding.
like, it's done for. It's fucking done for. You know, I've sent out some emails, some Instagram messages to like iHeart and Dear Media just to be like, hey, just so you know, like, we exist. And I thought about,
I didn't know you did that.
look, I got to do what I got to do for us. Girl.
I would have had my phone on ring.
I contemplated sending one to like the Viall Files podcasting network, and then I didn't because I haven't been the biggest supporter of him in my TikToks because I feel that he is an opportunist. And I feel like when Scandival broke, he then became like, I'm this big Vanderpump Rules fan. But he so obviously had never watched the
I was
fucking
going to say,
show.
he hadn't watched the show, though.
And like, even like, I know it's just little things, but like, someone mentioned like Charlie, and he was like, wait, who's Charlie?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, don't act like, I don't know. Again, I listened to every fucking episode he had with when he was interviewing people, so I'm a fraud that I'm talking shit because they are good ass episodes, but it's like, it's just hard for me. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just jealous.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the one that's like doing that. And I'm like, I could be getting such a better interview than you. But then at the same time, I don't think I could because I don't think that I'd be able to pry like he does.
He does pry.
He does pry.
He does a good job at it. I mean, yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. But I know I would like him too. I know I would
he's
go on the
definitely
podcast
charming, very
and I know
charming.
that I would have a good time, and I know that like we could totally hang, and I bet we would be friends.
Yeah, well, you know
That's
how
what
we
makes it
know
confusing.
we would like him because Katie likes him.
Yes.
And I do feel like Katie from Vanderpump Rules
We love
is
her judge of character.
She's a good judge of character.
She really is.
I do think that Nick skews very team woman. So I think like you can
Which
tell.
I think is for a reason,
Yeah.
too. I think he knows his audience.
Totally.
Yeah.
You're so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. I didn't think about that. So yeah, I don't blame Kyle and Carl for not wanting to go on. I mean, at one point in the interview, he asks West, are you team Lindsay or Carl? And I think West says something like, you know, although I saw a lot of Lindsay's point of view over the summer, I do think Carl was being soft. Wes's words, not mine. But the second that she questioned his sobriety, like that was it for me. Like, you don't fucking do that.
Automatic, yeah.
And I agree with that. Lindsay was too harsh in that.
Yeah.
And then Nick, you could tell he was subtly defending Lindsay throughout that whole thing. Like, he's definitely team Lindsay because he's had Lindsay on his podcast multiple times, I think.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's just obvious what his motives and intentions are.
It's very hard to be a Carl supporter in these streets. Let me tell you. It's like, I remember listening to the podcast and I was like, man, I wish I could jump in here and just say some stuff. Because I don't know, he is very team Lindsay, which I agree. I also agree with team Lindsay. And I think everyone agrees at this point that they don't belong together and that we can see things from both sides. But it still is, you know, a divisive topic online for sure. I still think I lean more Team Carl through all of this.
You know, I was leaning team Lindsay when we first discussed this, but I was also kind of split.
Yeah.
You forced me to choose, so
Yes.
I chose Lindsay.
Well, yes.
You know, we kind of just think about like what is happening right here, right now. Mm-hmm. Lindsay has been a pretty horrible partner to people. Mm-hmm. I just think she's like misunderstood. I don't know why I keep defending her. I'm not team either of them. I think they're both fucked up. The reunion, the second part of the reunion, which we haven't talked about, was interesting to me because it did seem like even Carl at one point was like, Lindsay, I'm really surprised that you say like that you're like happy that it happened or whatever. Like they seemed cordial. They seemed like, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like
Civil.
That's exactly it. Ish.
Respectful-ish.
And I think that after part 2, I kind of officially was like, I actually don't give a fuck. I'm not team anyone. They both went about it the wrong way.
Here.
Lindsay is volatile. Carl was gaslighty. But also people are doing like rewatches of Summer House on TikTok and quoting things that Carl has said that I'm like, huh. Like someone just said that he said like, I am the master of bullshitting. Like I'm the best bullshitter. Like when Carl was drinking in the earlier seasons, he was kind of a fucking asshole.
He was a dick.
Lindsay's always been kind of a fucking asshole.
He was. And I do think that I don't know if he's had media training, but he does very well in interview situations to seem like he's doing his best of trying to be the more mature civil person in the situation.
I think he knows that if he just lets her go, she'll like self-implode.
Yeah, exactly.
And
just
like
let the
it'll
train
just
leave the station. Like it's just gonna run off the rails itself.
And it's just gonna make him look so much better.
Yeah, totally.
What from the Nick Viall interview stood out to you?
Honestly, bigger picture stood out to me is that West is very charismatic.
He is.
And he's a fucking blast to hang around. And you could talk to West about this table. Like, he could make anything entertaining, which I thought was very interesting. I also got the sense that I think he thinks Sierra is just not his person. Like, I don't think he thinks, man, I missed that shot. I don't think he thinks like, wow, I really, really, really fucked up. I think he thinks I wasn't sure, and so I was too late.
He doesn't regret it. And I don't think he cares that they're like not together anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. He would be a little more torn up if she was the one that got away. He seems too nonchalant about it. And when he did this like call, the listener calls in and he gives love advice, which they make fun of because that's absurd for him to do. But he basically just says like, I just think you guys weren't each other's match. You just weren't each other's person. And I was like, interesting. Also introspective. He
also says that he doesn't want a girlfriend because essentially he says he likes being selfish. He doesn't like say those exact words, but that's what he's saying. He was like, I like to make decisions. I like to just move to New York, go on a reality show. Like, I don't want to. He was like, it's been working out for me to just impulsively do things. I don't want to have to think about someone else, which I can respect him knowing that about himself.
That is a choice that he's made, a boundary for himself.
Yeah, one of the parts of the interview that I was like fucking slurping up the tea. Ooh. Nick says, what's going on with your boy Jesse seemingly acting like he wants to fuck Amanda on social media? Do you know anything about this?
I've seen things here or there, but take us through it.
So basically Jesse has been commenting on, or he was, I don't think he really is anymore, but on a lot of Amanda's posts, like very flirty things. Like there was one post where Amanda was trying on bras.
But like it was overtly... I wouldn't even say flirty. It seems like a joke to me. Something about melons.
Well, I don't know that one, but there was one where she was trying on bras and he was like, I'm not going to leave a comment, but I just want you all to know I was here. Like basically like, I see you, I'm looking at you. Or like, I don't know. It just, and then
that is actually weirder.
And then because I think he knew that like people were looking out for his comments and stuff.
Right.
So basically West like texted Amanda, which I thought was weird. Like, why wouldn't you text Jesse and be like, dude, what's going on with this? But he texted Amanda and said, hey, I just wanted to check that Jesse's clearing these texts with you beforehand. And Amanda just responds and says like, haha, the internet's so crazy. And like didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
And West was like, either Kyle doesn't care or Kyle doesn't know. And he said that he felt it was interesting that West is leaning so far into the whole Amanda thing when that shit happened with Paige in the beginning of the season.
Jesse's leaning so far into
Yeah. So I don't know.
I took it more as I liked when Wes said he understands the leaning into a bit, and that it's just kind of a bit. Jesse does have a pattern now of being a little bit jokey, sleazy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of, you know, when he was hitting on Paige at first, it was not a joke.
Right. Like it's his thing.
Now it's a joke.
Yeah.
But it wasn't then.
Yeah.
And so
I also
there's
think
a little bit of both.
It just like festered because Kyle was such a fucking dick to Amanda at the end of that season, and a lot of people are upset that he wasn't really held accountable at the reunion.
He was not dragged at all.
He just sat there. I mean, Amanda was so open and candid about her depression, which I loved. That was beautiful. And he sat there with his hand on her leg like a big supportive husband, when you couldn't have been further from supportive that fucking season, dude.
Yeah.
You were like a little baby having a temper tantrum.
It's crazy how much he says she doesn't do anything and how badly he says that he needs her to be in the business. Like, isn't that weird?
Fair. And also, if he knew that she was depressed, then don't bitch her that she's not doing anything. Get her help. Like, help her.
Well, and I didn't like, I mean, he had her like hand on her leg, but I didn't like how he basically said after the wedding she was in like a funk. And he almost was blaming it.
I think he also said, he did say that, and he was like, yeah, she had the blues.
She had the blues.
She was depressed.
Like, she was depressed. Wrong attitude. That it hit me weird. I didn't
understand.
Like that.
I almost like downplaying it, maybe.
Yeah.
I understand.
Or putting the blame on her for having the blue, for being depressed.
Good point.
That is the last thing you should ever do to a depressed person.
Yeah.
Especially your wife.
It's a shame because it's like Kyle with Amanda is just like, ugh, like he's just not nice to her, but he is one of the funniest reality TV people.
He is very funny.
And I do think...
And I also think we would have a great time. I think we'd be friends.
I was just going to say that. I think we would have so much fun. Like he just reminds me of people that I am friends with that like bring the party and love to DJ.
Do stupid jokes.
Yeah, like we're drunk eating Oreos at 4 a.m. in the kitchen. So you know what? We could just contradict ourselves. It's like, be a dick to your wife, but as long as you're fun when you're drunk, I'll be friends with you.
We can go into the divorce rumors since we're on the
topic. Let's do it.
Curious what your thoughts on them.
All right, my thoughts on the divorce rumors are, I don't know. I really don't know.
Also, what rumors have you heard?
Okay,
because the only thing that I've heard is about the mysterious makeout, and she wasn't at the wedding, but then they had a
mysterious makeout.
Possible mysterious makeout. Leva coming out and saying that didn't hacken.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
okay. I think we both know two different things, but separately. So all I know is that he was in like North Carolina, one of them.
South Carolina. Charleston, and he was photoed.
Well, I saw a video of him in like this hallway talking to a girl, and he had like his hand on her shoulder, and he just like rubbed her shoulder like quickly. Yes. And then, but that's all I saw.
Yes.
So there was a rumor that they made out, but Leva said didn't happen.
So whoever was there said that they saw them make out. Leva came out and said that's like our mutual friend. That didn't happen, and it's unfortunate that like he can't come here and just have a good time.
First of all, I'm obsessed with the Bravo multiverse,
oh my God,
where it's like Leva from Southern Hospitality is speaking on Kyle from Southern Charm. Yeah, I think that was a bit blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Like, whatever. I was surprised that Amanda was not at Andrea's wedding, but Kyle was.
Did we ever get a reason for her not to be there?
So they put out a statement and they said that she wasn't there because they have other weddings in Italy this summer. So she has like multiple destination weddings or whatever. But then obviously all the jokes on the internet were like, oh, could you not get PTO?
Yeah.
Like, did your boss didn't give you time off?
It's so hard to go to Italy more than once.
So that's the only reason why I think maybe there might be trouble in paradise, because I feel like Amanda really loved Andrea. Not only was he on Summer House with them, he was on Winter House with them. People forget he started on Winter House, and it wasn't just guys at Andrea's wedding. So
that's a good point. Well, now you have me wondering, because since then Kyle posted something of them with the dogs and happy life, and it looked like they were fine.
That almost makes it even more suspicious.
But it does make it weirder. I haven't heard anything more than that, and I'm like, that's not enough evidence for me to go into I think they're getting a divorce category, but it's enough to say my ears are perked.
I will say, if my friends/parents, I would assume if they watched that season of Summer House back and saw the way, if Kyle was my husband, saw the way Kyle talked to me, about me, the tantrums he threw, they would probably sit me down and say something. Because if I were Amanda's friend, I would sit her down and be like, maybe you are feeling this way because you are not in a good marriage.
Yeah.
Maybe. I had horrible anxiety and panic attacks and all this shit, and with further, investigation, it was because I was in a horrible relationship.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite put my finger on it then. But then when I got out of that relationship, it felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And obviously I still have anxiety. It's 2024 and I'm a millennial. Like, I'm gonna have anxiety, but not quite as bad as I did then. Like, I wonder if
you have someone that's calling you a bitch and saying that your dreams aren't valid, I imagine it would make you sad every now and then, and that you're not gonna live in the place you said you were gonna live.
That is bullshit, because he did agree that he would do that, right?
So I mean,
he live in New Jersey.
But I mean, the reunion, I don't know, he goes on the weird thing about the kids have to be able to play in the street for them, which
I thought was interesting. I feel like Paige was very team Kyle during the reunion, and team Carl. Paige was very team Carl and Kyle.
I was surprised by that too, because she showed up to Lindsay's, I mean, I'm sure filming was like, hey, it just happened, and Paige came over. But I mean, Paige was definitely there to support Lindsay when it happened, but she was not team Lindsay.
Which makes me think that Lindsay was just doing some Lindsay ass shit, and people were like, yep, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Also, there's rumors that Lindsay is pregnant. She does have a new boyfriend. She talks about it in the reunion, and she talks about it on the Not Skinny Not Fat podcast. They started dating in January. She knew him from years before. They re-hooked up and yada yada.
She said she's not, though.
She said she's not, but there's still speculations. Just to double back, Andrea Denver is getting married in Italy, or got married in Italy, to his girlfriend and wife, Lexi. Andrea was on Summer House and Winter House. And fun fact, do you know why his last name is Denver?
No.
Because being that Italian, do you think his last name would be Denver?
I don't even know.
His last name is Denver because I guess growing up, this is not a joke. He was a fan of the Denver Nugget. So he legally changed
So
his
it's like
name.
he legally changed it to Denver?
I think so.
Is
Okay,
like his
that I'm not sure of, actually. But he changed it to Andrea Denver. I don't even know what his name is. So anyways, he got married.
So funny.
That's where the Amanda and Kyle divorce rumors started flowing. That's kind of where the Lindsay pregnancy rumors kind of came back up because...
Well, and the Traders. Because of Traders.
Oh, and she got kicked off at Traders. People were saying that they could tell she was drinking non-alcoholic drinks in Italy.
And you know who they say told producers? Dorinda.
I don't know Dorinda that well, but
oh yeah, she is one to do that type of thing.
all I know is that one time someone on TikTok told me that I remind them of Dorinda.
Shut the fuck up.
I wish
I don't
was
even know how
joking.
to feel about that.
I wish I
I'm
was
like upset on your behalf,
Well,
but
it's-
also not.
It's funny because I was actually making a video of like all the people I've been told I look like, and one of them was Jill Zarin.
I can see that.
I know, unfortunately, I can too. My mom was like, "You do not look like her," and I'm like, "Mom, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of
She's not
do."
a bad looking woman.
Well, like when she first, I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
All right, here's everyone who was at Andrea's wedding, just for the fun of it, so you guys can know. Because I feel like it was kind of a random bunch. So we have Chris, who was on last season of Summer House, Carl, Danielle, Sam, who was on last season of Summer House, Lindsay, Kyle, Alex, who I had to fucking Google his motherfucking name. He was on Summer House 2 seasons ago.
I don't even remember him. Which one is he in this photo?
This one right here.
Oh, I'm gonna have to blow it up.
Exactly. And then, my point exactly. And then Jason, who was like a friend of on Summer House, but he was on Winter House. Like he was a main cast member on Winter House.
Oh yes.
Jason is
and
also.
he dated does he still?
Oh, he was dating the florist, but actually he was hooking up with Lindsay, and they got pregnant.
They had a miscarriage.
And
No,
had a
you know who
miscarriage.
he dated after Lindsay.
Oh, what's her name?
Giselle.
Yeah.
From Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still dating. Well,
I
she
don't
wasn't
know
his plus
either.
one.
There you go. And they were very open that they have an open thing. So
I did not
who
know
knows?
that.
Well, on the show, that's what they said.
Well, I think a lot of people thought that they were like fake.
I don't know. It sounds like they had a lot of good times in the bedroom from what she missed out on the show. But that she can also, that could be vague. See, I believe everything I'm told.
Fair.
So we balance each other out well.
All right, let's get off of Summer House. I'm just going to do something quick. I'm just to let everyone know what I know. The whole cast of The Valley went to the Bikeriders premiere last night. That new Austin Butler movie that just, oh, that man is just so fucking hot. Do you think he's hot?
Yes.
It's like so hot.
Yes, he is attractive.
So they went to the Bikeriders premiere, and every single person from the Valley was there except for Jax and Jason. Michelle brought her new boyfriend, who sat on the complete opposite side of the aisle than Jesse. I have some thoughts about Michelle and her boyfriend.
Please tell.
I feel like
Continue.
she's trying really hard to like post about, like she just posts about him all the time, and it's really only him interacting with Isabella, her daughter. And I'm wondering if that's like
No, you know,
pointed?
couples that post about each other are usually the ones that aren't doing great. I
But
say that. Kyle posts me all the time. It's on his stories.
Well, he's always on her stories. Maybe you might want to
So
take
maybe
that back.
I need to take that back.
I think that she is like being pointed and always posting him with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a little weird. It's like him playing with her in the pool, him holding her hand. Like she posted a fucking video the other day of her daughter eating salmon like with her hand and then like putting it in his mouth.
Oh, wow.
Like the boyfriend's mouth. So I'm like, if I were Jesse, I'd be like, fuck this, dude. They don't follow each other, Jesse and Michelle.
Oh.
So maybe
shocking.
I'm just being over dramatic. I just think it's a bit like, we get it. Like he's good with your daughter. Like
Right.
it's just like very like,
It's a lot in your face.
my new daddy.
It's a lot soon. I mean, sure, it's been like a year, but I don't know. It's a lot to be a public figure with someone with a kid.
Sure, but I just feel like Jesse and Michelle were done so fucking long ago.
That is so
like,
true.
Who cares?
That she clearly had other relationships in the meantime. You don't know about this situation, but I wanted to touch on it because it was big news this week. Do you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta ever?
I don't, but I know there's been some fucking drama, so I need you to like enlighten me.
Okay.
I know. I do know.
The whiteboard.
I do want to watch it because I love Portia because I watched her on Stars on Mars, and I love Phaedra from The Traitors. So
I started Real Housewives of Atlanta like a few months ago, and I am speeding. Well, it says a few months ago. I'm not speeding that fast. I mean, I watched the first 3 seasons in like a day. It was crazy.
Hey, there's a lot of TV to watch. That's good for you.
And it was during surgery time, so that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
It is debatably the best one.
People do say that.
I'm like, what? How have I not watched this all of these years?
So what do you think makes it the best one?
All the characters are just so crazy. I mean, you have Nene Leakes, who started as no one, and we watched her like hubris, ego trip that took her in a crazy direction. Then you have Kim Z, if she's still married to that guy, and her singing career. You have Candy, who is a very reputable, talented music producer. She produced No Scrubs, or wrote No Scrubs. She was in Escape. Like, she's a very talented woman making these songs for Kim. Then you have Phaedra, who is going to school to be a mortuary person.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
And we follow her journey of learning how to like construct faces and like embalm people. But then the drama between the castmates and Phaedra, this like very Southern belle woman, is married to this guy named Apollo. Now, don't tell me universe, don't tell me if they're still together. I purposely have not Googled this. I've not looked at Phaedra's stuff because I want to see how this relationship unfolds. Because enter Kenya Moore, who was Miss USA, and don't you forget it. She gets very upset if you call her Miss America. It's very different. Know your facts.
Okay, shit.
Kenya Moore, and she has just been a riot, but she had all this drama with Apollo, Phaedra's husband. They might have even hooked up. We don't think they did, but maybe one tried to, and that they had inappropriate texts together. They met in Los Angeles together.
Nothing good happens in LA.
Nothing good happens here.
No.
I'm only on 2014 is where I am in the season. So I didn't even know.
Because it's still going, huh?
It's still going. So I have a decade to catch up with. But apparently, Kenya Moore is still being Kenya Moore because it sounds like a very Kenya thing to do. Now, it sounds like from this other podcast, I didn't know this, and I don't know if this is true. It sounds so crazy, but a new castmate on Atlanta threatened her with a gun, and she wanted to get back at her. So at the opening of her, I think she has a hair spa or something, she finds old porn this woman was in and puts it on a poster and prints a bunch out and hands them out at her event to everybody. Now Kenya has been suspended mid-season on Atlanta, and Kenya says, I've never done revenge porn, or like I've never distributed things that were not for the public.
I mean,
already.
I was going to say, is it revenge porn if it is out there publicly?
She says no, and she says that she'll be back. But I mean, this might be if this is the thing that does her in, I mean, it's a long time coming.
I feel like worth it if that's the thing that does her in.
Oh, she's a disaster.
It's interesting too to watch something from so long ago because it's like people may have hated her.
Right.
But now they love her.
At this point, she is the villain. She is the villain. She, possibly slept with one of their husbands and is very sassy. Says she's queen of the show and like meaning her have
I need to watch this fucking show.
It is bananas, like the drama that goes on. But I mean, then again, you were just talking about Salt Lake City where we had people going to jail.
Yeah, but there were no guns involved or porn.
I don't know what the gun thing was. And I heard that on a podcast, so don't quote me on that. But that's the drama going on there.
Damn. First of all, I just want to say thank you for really laying the groundwork there for me.
I'm sorry, I got swept away.
No, because I wouldn't have really been able to be shocked had I not known that she was Miss USA, not Miss America, Miss USA. This is all I know right now. Like, I do need to watch fucking Atlanta because apparently Phaedra got kicked off of Atlanta and now is on Married to Medicine because there's rumors of shit.
No, see, that's a spoiler.
Well, I thought everybody knew that.
I don't know. That's why I love this. It's so rare that I get to start from the beginning and be so pure, like a little snowflake.
I could be wrong, but that's what I thought.
That makes sense. Which is she on Married to Medicine as a mortician? She's not a doctor.
I mean,
she's a lawyer.
I guess it's medical. I mean,
oh my God, if she gets kicked off, that would also make sense.
funny you say that about revenge porn. So I've mentioned this on here before, but I listened to a podcast called Celebrity Memoir Book Club where they just review celebrity memoirs. And I'm currently listening to the Tiffany Haddish one.
Oh, great.
And apparently Tiffany Haddish found out, this is like when she was way younger, found out her boyfriend was cheating on her with this woman that was like his sex worker because he was a pimp. It was like, it's actually crazy so far. And she found out because she found a fucking sex tape of it. And she got pissed because she was like really tight with his family. And she was like, they definitely all knew that he was like banging this girl.
Yeah.
But apparently they made her out to be like the bad guy. Like, why would you break up with our son? Like, why would you leave him? So for Christmas, she bought 6 copies of Charlie's Angels on VHS and spliced in his sex tape in with the Charlie's Angels and gave them as gifts to his family so that when they watched his sex tape,
that is savage.
I don't know like how true that is, but that is what she said, and I think that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Out of this world.
Especially in Charlie's Angels.
Well, that would be what she would be go to court today, because then it was brought up of like, well, how does it compare to Sandoval? And it's like, well, Sandoval is different because she was being recorded without her consent. And, you know, there's just, but she's still taking them to court because apparently she can.
Fair.
So you got to be careful with your revenge porn, ladies.
Exactly.
Don't be sloppy.
Just in other news, have you guys heard that Justin Timberlake got a DWI?
I sure did. And did I have to Google what a DWI was?
It's just driving while intoxicated.
I thought
What's the difference between that and a DUI?
That's why I'd never heard it as DWI. I've only known DUI. So I was excited to learn something new.
Maybe DWI is driving like while you're drunk, and DUI is when you're under other substances.
I think it's the same thing.
Dog, I don't know if anybody knows, please comment.
Yeah.
But basically, he failed to stop at a stop sign, got pulled over, said he wouldn't do the breathalyzer, gets arrested. He was held overnight, got released in the morning. But here's what I found to be interesting. So he was drinking like at a bar or a restaurant with a friend, and he was driving to a friend's home when he was pulled over. A friend, okay? Now, Justin Timberlake, this is all speculation and theory, has been accused of being a cheater in the past.
Many times.
So
with compelling evidence, I think.
That New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like photographed
Photos,
on like a New Orleans rooftop,
Yep.
like rubbing his co-star's leg.
Yeah.
So he was caught going to a friend's house. It was at like 12:37 a.m. Now, here's the tea. Jessica Biel is currently in New York City filming a TV show. So 2 questions. Whose house is he going to? And where are their kids? I guess I'm sure they have nannies and shit, but like...
I'm sure they're well taken care of wherever they are.
And this was last night on a Monday.
Okay, wait. Where was he?
So they're in the Hamptons, and he was out at a restaurant, I believe, and then was going from the restaurant to a friend's house.
I've never trusted him. I don't know. He gives me the heebies, and I don't have much proof to back that up other than he's been accused a few times of cheating, and they all seemed kind of substantial.
Dumois, like the internet, like secret teller.
I love Dumois.
I love Dumois as well. Has definitely posted a ton of blind items about Justin Timberlake, saying that he's just a terror. He's rude. He's thrown drinks on people. And apparently people don't love how he handled the whole Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing.
Oh, wow. We're going back in time.
That's what I hear. So I don't know. I'm just adding fuel to the fire, I guess.
Love that.
Wait. Speaking of adding fuel to the fire, I should have said this during the summer house shit. But you know what I realized? I just made a TikTok about this, which reminded me. So Sierra is all mad at West because he like brought her home to his family, and that means lots to her, blah, blah, blah. When she started on Summer House, I went back and rewatched. She came in as Luke's, quote, friend. And in the second episode that she's on, tells Paige, like, yeah, I went to Minnesota, met his whole family, spent like a week there. I'm feeling like it's a pattern.
Well, and that kind of explains why she seems so sad.
And she even says in that thing, like, I don't do one night stands. I'm not just sleeping with anyone. And like didn't even sleep with Luke before she went to Minnesota with him.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. There's something there.
There's something there. I just wanted to touch on it briefly because it's also hot. Are you a Perfect Match watcher?
I did watch the first season and really liked it. And I liked it because it was a show that like I didn't really have to know that many people to enjoy. But I know like no one except for Micah from Love is Blind. So, but I know people are like really liking it. What's going on with it?
Well, do you know Harry Jowsey?
Oh, yes, I know Harry Jowsey.
He's
is he on? Well, it's not a Netflix reality show without Harry Jowsey.
Exactly. And
what chokehold does it, like...
He can get any show he wants.
Do you think he's hot?
No, but Nick Viall says he is he's huge. He's like 6'5", very charming, very fun. Do you know Jessica from Love is Blind? She was the one who said, "You are going to choke when you see this."
I know. I haven't watched that season, but I know that line.
She's a beautiful young mother. She had a kid very, very young. So she has a daughter, single mom. Harry and her get into a relationship, and Harry love bombs the shit out of her, and it's like, you're everything I wanted. But we've kind of seen him do this to like everyone he's ever met, and so like, watch out for Harry. And she's like, no, I'm gonna be the one who changes him. I rolled my eyes for those who could not see. Famous last
women,
words.
we cannot change these men.
No, they're not changeable. They're not changeable until they've done their own growth.
Exactly, they have to change themselves.
But you know who hasn't grown? Harry Jowsey. So Harry Jowsey, the guys get to go meet other girls for like a pool day when Jessica isn't there, and he gets blackout and apparently makes out with another girl, and which we shouldn't be surprised, but it technically wasn't caught on camera.
Okay, but also he spent one day away from her.
One day, hours away. And that's the hot news right now. And we're waiting for the finale because she was told, the girl that made out with him told Jessica that this happened. And Harry somehow spun it that they came back the next day stronger, saying, "I love you." Like, we don't know what happened, but Jessica's on a ride right now with Harry Jowsey, and we're all just giving her like the girl prayers right now.
You know, Netflix,
to get out of it.
Netflix should win an award. And I'm not even trying to be funny, for finding the horniest fucking people. Like the horniest people.
Would be Harry Jowsey.
Man, that's crazy.
I didn't realize his whole dating history, and I looked it up and I was like, damn, he really does have
I remember he dated Francesca on the first
Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle. Yeah.
And then he dated Georgia.
Yes.
Then maybe his Dancing with the Stars person.
Yes.
He denies
Speculated.
that. And now this girl.
Yeah, there must be some appeal. I know he's super tight with Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy.
Apparently like some friends of the Kardashians and stuff. Influencers, YouTubers.
Some things we just can't quite figure out. And Harry Jowsey's one of them.
Yeah.
For this episode, we either call it weekly gab, weekly reality gab, whatever it is, like a weekly reality gab. Sometimes we lean more into the gab than the reality.
Yeah.
I feel like we really handled the news.
Yeah.
We really took care of it.
We reported the news.
We reported the fucking news.
As it came to us.
The one thing we didn't report, but I do want to just say so fast. I want to flex real fast. So this isn't reality TV related, but this is for all you Chappell Roan fans out there.
Woo!
And if you're not a Chappell Roan fan, fucking Google her. So she was already popular, blowing the fuck up. And Carolyn and I had the pleasure of seeing her together for the first time when we were at Coachella. And funnily enough, no one else really went. It was just me, you, and like one other friend. I bet they're regretting that now because she's huge. And I just wanted to like be one of those assholes to be like, we saw her before she was cool. But she was so cool at Coachella, obviously.
Can I read the text Johnny sent me about Chappell Roan?
Yes, please.
It's so funny. Okay, so our friend, we mentioned him all the time, Johnny.
We'll have to have him on as a guest.
Seriously, and he'll win everyone over, I'm sure. I asked him which Coachella artist to go and this is what he said. He sent me, I showed you how much he sent me.
Oh my God, novels.
It was so much.
That looks like he's like mad at you and you guys are in a fight and he's just continuously sending
it's
shit.
It's just like, it was so fucking amazing. But the one that caught my eye, and the only reason I saw her is because he said, you have to see Chappell. Do not listen to anyone leading you anywhere else because she will give you everything. Sabrina Carpenter is cute. Chappell is all caps special. Yeah, that's what he said. So I went to go see her, and man, did it not disappoint.
Wow, good thing he gave you that good advice.
Seriously.
Yeah, she was amazing. And I mean, when we saw her, she was in like one of the smaller tents at Coachella, and even we were like poured on the outside of the tent. These aerial views of her at the Governor Ball, at her at Boston Calling, like the crowds that she is accumulating are like unheard of.
And it's interesting to see a celebrity go through this type of fame so quickly. We don't see that in today's culture that much these days.
She is exactly. And
like she's almost an overnight Taylor Swift level of
exactly.
excitement.
And that's why I think if you haven't really heard of her, if you're not really following, like let us be the ones to put you onto Chappell Roan, because people are like, she is the next Lady Gaga. She is a fucking performer. She is a pop star. Her outfits are amazing. She kind of like channels drag queen in like the best way. So she had a show, and I don't remember exactly which festival it was, but she stops mid-show and kind of addresses the crowd and says like, I'm sorry if I feel like I've been a bit off. And then verbatim, she says, my career is kind of going really fast and it's really hard to keep up. And that, I'm sure it's everything she wanted, but I feel like she's blanked and she's the most seen. She's not even headlining these festivals. The sun is out when she is doing these shows. She is like a fucking 5 p.m. slot, and she has the most attendance of anyone.
I do have to say something that's all been thinking about since I said this, and I was like, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I'm a Swiftie. I'm not saying she is Taylor Swift.
That's fair.
I'm saying the Eras Tour, you always saw people on the bridges outside of the stadiums trying to get a peek of the show. That's the level of crowd her shows were attracting very quickly, almost overnight. And so not a Nissan Stadium, not 90,000 people, but I don't know, how big was Governor's Ball?
Carolyn's like, don't worry guys, I'm one of you.
I'm like, please,
we are
please,
here
please
together.
We're here all together.
Please don't be mad
She's
at
had
me.
a very good career that she earned and deserved all the way.
But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I saw videos of her performing somewhere, but people were in parking garages at the top of the parking garage just to like watch her. So it's amazing. It's really cool. It seems like she's a good person for it to happen to.
I read somewhere that she said, she's going to give music 2 more years and then give it a,
Well, we'll see when the paychecks start rolling in.
No. This was before she hit fame.
Oh, I was going to say.
Not now.
The album that she's currently promoting that people are fucking freaking out over, I'm sure she didn't even get paid that much to make. So
it
like.
Is one of the best albums
from start to finish,
cover to cover, I have listened to in a long time. I mean, bop after bop after bop.
Well, and that's the thing. There's all these videos of like, hey, I'm straight, but like, can I like Chappell Roan?
I did one myself.
Yeah, like, and it's funny, and but that's what's beautiful about her is it's just like
it's so
everyone
good.
Like, please come. Everyone is welcome. It's so funny. This is one of my most embarrassing stories of all fucking time, but it's one of my favorite stories to tell. So my best friend, she might be listening. I won't name her, but she might be listening. When we were seniors in college, started dating women out of nowhere. Because let me tell you, she loved men.
Hell yeah.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Loved men. Loved the men.
Yeah. Woo.
And we were like, whoa,
penis.
Okay. We're dating. Like, penis. And now we're like, vagina.
Clitoris.
But so she started dating women, and I was like, obviously so supportive, just like, she can do whatever she wants. But I was like, I didn't really know, like, I just said the dumbest thing. So do you know who Borns is, the musical artist that sings like 10,000 Emerald Pools and all that stuff? I would listen to Borns, and they were always singing about like I love this girl and blah blah blah, and I always thought Borns was a woman.
Oh,
because his voice is
you
very.
thought it was like.
So I went into my friend's room and I was like, "Hey, I really think you need to listen to this artist. She sings all about lesbians." Like, she's a lesbian. It's a lot of love songs for women. Like, I thought I was being the most supportive friend ever. She probably doesn't even remember that I fucking did that.
Was she like?
No, she didn't even know. She was just like, okay, whatever. It probably didn't even stick out to her. But to me, the only reason that it sticks out to me is because then 2 years later, I'm in LA and Borns has a free concert at the Santa Monica Pier. And I'm like, I love Borns.
You gotta go.
I have to go see Borns. You could imagine my despair when Borns walks out onto that stage.
You didn't know till the concert?
How would I know?
Shut up.
We're not watching music videos
sure
these
she
days.
said by this point, like, hey.
She didn't do her fucking research. She went in one ear and out the other. She didn't care. She was fucking girl. She had other things to worry about. She's not looking up Borns.
So were you just waiting for like a girl to come out on stage and it just never happened?
It wasn't
like,
that
when
I was
did you
like
figure it
waiting.
out?
It was like Borns came out on stage and started singing, and I matched the voice to this man, and I'm like, oh, this is just a man that has amazing vocal range. And I just assumed she was a lesbian.
That's a great fucking story.
Yeah, so it was like me trying to be like a woke supportive friend, aka couldn't have been less woke actually.
But
did zero
But
research.
it's also like really kind of sweet and cute. Anyways, the moral of the story is listen to Chappell Roan. You will love her. I think we got to end it on that because that is such a good tale.
I think we should end it on that.
And a good message.
You know what? Embarrassing, whatever. What
Look
can you
up
do?
your artist, but support your friends always.
Just fact check where the artist falls before you go and make extreme accusations. That's all I'm saying.
That is so funny.
If you don't know, we are recapping Vanderpump Rules from the start, and we are going to be recapping episode 2.
And if you don't know, a fan suggested that we rate every transgression on the show with a scale, and I'm doing it. So we are going through the pilot. I'm going to go through who scored for the most and the different levels, and then we're going to episode 2 as well. It's going to be hella fun. Come join.
Yeah, Carolyn made like a full ass spreadsheet of like, basically someone on TikTok was like, can you guys make a spreadsheet of who's done the worst things as you rewatch? And I was like, I do not have the time. I am never fucking doing that. And Carolyn was like, I love spreadsheets. I'm doing that.
I get so granular that Kyle was like, you need to pull back. He was like, I was like, she needs points. She said limes go in Chardonnay.
Has Kyle watched from the beginning?
He's so sweet tonight. He's like, where can I watch? I want to support you. So, tonight he said he was going to watch the pilot.
That's our man.
Episode. That's
Kyle is
guy.
a king, an absolute king.
So sweet.
An absolute king.
Absolute king. And also a aspiring DJ just like Kyle Cook.
I can't wait for DJ Fox to make his debut. I really can't. He's got an Instagram now, I saw.
Yes, and a logo.
I love it.
Still can't make music, but girl.
He's got all the puzzle pieces are there. We just got to put them together.
Right, exactly.
All right, so yeah, make sure to listen to our Vanderpump Rules recap episode. And as always, thank you guys so much for listening to us just talk.
We love you.
We love you.
Always. And clearly we're reading your comments. I don't know how many times this episode was like, did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, it's also like, it's obviously like mostly really positive shit.
Oh, yes. And we love the feedback, especially when you give compliment sandwiches.
Oh, Carolyn loves compliment sandwich.
Chef's kiss.
It's her favorite food.
It's my favorite. I eat it for dinner.
But I do like I love how people are so eager to be critical.
Yeah.
Of like, I didn't like that you did this. And I'm just like, you know what? Noted.
Noted. Take it. I love data. It's always data.
Maybe I wouldn't be able to handle it as well if they were like, I don't like that you did this and you're fucking
and
ugly.
You suck. Yeah.
Maybe if
it's different. Yeah. It's a style thing.
All right, so let's go record Vanderpump Rules Season 1, Episode 2, Rewatch, Recap. I'm Kate Riccio.
I'm Kaylin Murdoch. See you
Bye.
later. Bye-bye.